Welcome to the Diversity Connector podcast, where we explore the rich tapestry of human experiences. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the country on which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging, and together as we dive into conversations that bridge cultures, challenge stereotypes, and celebrate the unique perspectives each of us brings to the table. Each episode is a journey through stories and insights from a kaleidoscope of voices, each sharing their colorful narrative. Whether you're at home, on the go, or just anywhere in between, you're now part of a community that values understanding, inclusivity, and the beauty of diversity. So plug in your headphones, get comfortable, and let's connect through the power of our shared stories. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on the Diversity Connector podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Diversity Connector. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating man. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Thank you so much, Gertrude Mache, for having me and for the wonderful introduction music. My name is Papa Balla Ndong, and I come from Senegal. But right now, over 19 years, I am living here in Valencia, Spain. My journey can be fascinating because when I came to Spain, it was only having someone working and to continue to Paris because Spain never been my migration project. And then during the 2 months working here in Valencia in Spain, every weekend I want to visit a museum and see paintings. And one Sunday at the Carmen Museum here in Valencia, Spain, in the center of Valencia, looking at artwork of art, there were people who look at me and with their body expression, I could see that they wondered what I was doing there. Because as you know, museum here and many countries, people think they are only for elite person. And then in the next minute, a young Valencian girl passed by me and I told her hello. And she answered me. And since that day, she is the mother of my 3 children. And then upon arriving at his house 2 weeks after, I had no problem with his parents who adopted me, but the social environment of the neighborhood was not clear about at first because they always saw me in traditional African clothing. They said, Papa Balla as a Muslim, and of course, it's a sexist. It's sexist because it's a Muslim. And now, after 19 years of marriage, sometime on the street, one of them told me, forgive me. We didn't know that you are not sexist, and we were very wrong. It means at the beginning, people with my African clothes, they thought I'm, extremists because I'm a Muslim. And then after I met my wife, she helped me to have document, to have a work permit. And then after having work permit, I started studying in Valencia University. And right now I hold a master degree in international migration. And I am collaborating with the Valencia City Council because in 2016, I was the first vice president of the local council on migration on interculturality in Valencia City Council, working and advising the mayor of Valencia about sustainable migration policies. But it's one. And the other part, with our organization, MIRLAB, Migration Refugees Laboratory, we are working and trying to understand the different issues migration communities is facing about health, about accommodation, about integration, mechanism integration. And then around this organization, you are taking all the different mechanisms to learn about the difficulties and how we can resolve it. And then one example can be here in Valencia, particularly in Spain in general, you can see every time in the station of train or the station of bus, many police patrol controlling people, migrant, because they're only black or because they're only migrant. And then it's really uh, um, it's a violence. It's a, uh, it's an institutional violence. And then with our organization, we are trying to participate in the local council during political incidents, saying this violence should be stopped because there are black or migrants. Does not means they are criminals. And then we are making this kind of political incidents as well. We are making surveys, having a report, gathering data, showing the migrant competence, because we have many migrant competence here. And then we think about how we can create bridge between the local community and the migration community, working to the social cohesion, because we are thinking about the social cohesion can be really our quality of life. Because if you have peace, if we are thinking together, if you are co-creating, if you are doing things collectively, we can make better things. Because in each culture, you can find key practical way to resolve many social issues. And then it's only about this different action that we are doing, but relating this action to my journey when I came out from Senegal to go to France, I can say right now I don't want to go anywhere because I'm very well here in Spain, integrated here, and then having family support, and then working how I want, and making my everyday life is making bridge, building bridge between people. Because I think if we go together, we can be not only be strong, but at the same time be more creativity. But it doesn't mean it's like a unity in diversity, because diversity it's very strong because creating with diversity can help. And then it's this different action that I am doing here in Valencia nationally, and as well in an international way. I am as well collaborating with CETAR. CETAR, it's the Society for Intercultural Education, Training, and Research. We are 9 national theater. It's upon European Intercultural Organization, and we are working using our 3 pillars, who are education, training, and research. As well, I'm collaborating with the World Council on Intercultural and Global Competence, because working across culture, we need intercultural competence. And then we are working to understand better culture, to understand people, because culture, people, and organization are very related. That's why I very like diversity connector, because I think it's what I have, what I have, what I have in my body, in my blood, because I think with the diversity connecting people, we can be more efficient to resolve a situation, not only as a human being, not only as individual, not only as people, but at the same time as organization, as community. And then it's to summarize my short journey here in Valencia, Spain, since I left my country, my home country, Senegal, and being here in my host country, Spain, who I'm trying to bring my intercultural competence to help organization, to help community, to help cities, and to help, I can say, government.
What an amazing journey you've been on, Papa Balla. You know, listening to you speak, I'm from Zimbabwe. I grew up in a British colonized country. You're coming from Senegal. The French had an influence in Senegal, the Dutch had an influence, and now you're in Spain. It's been a very, very big journey of different cultures. So I can really understand your role in the position you're in now as the program director for the Migration Laboratory. So, can you share some key initiatives and projects that your organization is involved in to support immigrants and refugees?
Yes, I think that's a good question, because actually migration is understanding as a product. And then sometimes we say each product need offer and demand. Each product need market. And a lot of politicians, they want to highlight the migration and refugees, making them mainstream to gain some political interests. Because as you know, here in Europe right now, the extreme right ideology is growing. They say migrants they are not important. Even knowing migration is very important. And then one or two, three tips, example, I can say it's first of all, we are trying to make a political incidents, because as you know, a lot of time here in Valencia, you can see on the station of the train or the bus, police patrol controlling people because only they're African or they're migrant. It's a as a institutional violence, and we are against this institutional violence, and we are making political incidents. One. Secondly, we are trying in this organization laboratory to have we have a data base, data. We are collecting data for all migrant competence, migrant professionals. We are collecting data for the issues that migrants are facing. One example can be about ILF, because if you are migrant and you don't have a document, I just want to point it out, the irregular migrant, because the situation of the irregular migrant is more complicated. Because if you don't have a work permit here, you cannot study. You don't have health care. If you are ill, nobody can take care about you because you are not. You don't have right for that. We are making incident for that because we know the ILF should be universal. If you are migrant, you are a human being. If you are ill, the state, the government should help you. We are making as well incidents, political incidents about renting. If you are migrant, you call saying, "I want to rent." You see you see a call. People say, "I want to rent my house." You call, they say, only with your accent, migrant accent, they say, no, the house, you cannot have it because it's right, we already rent it. It's not that. And then we are working for migration right, but at the same time, we are working with organization as African Union in Spain to organize, for example, one, each 25th of May, because 25th of May is the African International Day from the United Nations. And then each 25th of May, we organize a different event to show how we can build relation, how we can make a diversity connection between our local community and migrant. We first of all try to organize workshop in different place, university and school, to show them Africa is not like what you are seeing on the TV. It's not like dishes. It's not like hunger. It's more than this. What you are seeing on the TV in Africa, you have a journalist, you have a doctor, you have a writer, you have a scientific, you have every things we are having right now is coming from Africa, because Africa is the roots of the human being. Science is coming from Africa. Physics is coming from Africa. Medicine, astronomy, everything went from Egypt, from Africa. And then we are showing that our African culture, our food, our African company, entrepreneurship, we are developing all these different situations around our organization. We are making a report. We are gathering data. We are making bridge between the local community and the migrant community. It's summarized one of what we are doing.
So, immigration is a complex and multifaceted issue. How do you approach the challenges of addressing the diverse needs and experiences of the different immigrants and refugee populations? You were saying earlier that you actually come from a Muslim background. That comes with its own challenges as well, being there as an African immigrant. How are you managing the different challenges for the different diverse groups?
Yes, it's a Gertrude, much a very very a good question, and I can take my own example because when they elected me as a vice president of the local council on immigration on interculturality of, for the Valencia City Council, it was very complicated. It was since 2016 because some um, functionary uh, people who are working publicly in the city council didn't accept me as having these positions because I was the
Right.
first African migrant having this position. And then it was very complicated. Many different um, project, situation, ideas, creativity that I wanted to push were blocked. And then,
Yes.
yes, were blocked because um, I can have ideas, I can have creativity, but all my idea and creativity depend in a different mechanism to go out. And then
Mm-hmm.
after many complications, we finally collaborate to the Valencia Migration and Interculturality Action Plan. Action plan for 4 years, 2016 to 2022. The action plan. And then
Mm-hmm.
this action plan was at the beginning very complicated to move it because it's having taking all the different issues and challenges and making them as a policies. And then if the
Right.
policies you voted, people should respect these policies and should follow these policies. And then it was uh, very complicated for having all these challenges about health, about about work permit, work permit, as well here in Spain. The very big challenge about migration is you have a for the work permit, you need the national um, law, because the national law is the only law who can give migration or a work permit. But at the
Okay.
same time, you have different law for the local community.
Government.
And then
Yes.
local government, yes. In the local government, you have education. For example, education is for the local government. And then
Mm.
the plan was collecting all the challenges around health, around accommodation, renting house, social uh, um, well-being, social well-being, and work permit to collect all these different issues on an action plan. And then it's like over 65 um, point we've collected
Mhm.
and gave it to the city council, and they voted in the plenary this action plan for nine for 4 years. All the local government should accept, respect, and follow this action plan. It's
Action plan.
yeah.
Mm. So the concept of diversity connector focuses on building bridges and fostering those connections amongst diverse communities. how can individuals and organizations effectively serve as diversity connectors in the context of immigration and refugee support, do you think?
Yes. First of all, I think each community should accept, respect, and be itself. Itself. I have my own originality. I can bring my own originality, and my identity and my authenticity. We can make it together. And then how? I think it's like democracy, because democracy say my right start and stop where start your right. And
Mm,
then if you are coming to organization as an individual or as a community, you are bringing something. But at the same time, if another bring something, you should to co-create everything, um, accept to lose something. No. That's why
yeah,
if I understand is we to collaborate, we should be aware of our difference, and
yes,
how we can um, the standpoint what I was thinking at the beginning, the unity in diversity, the
yeah. And
unity
the
in
celebration
diversity.
of the differences,
Yes,
to
yes,
celebrate our
yes.
differences.
Yes, the celebration. At the same, I think it really word the celebration of the diversity. Yes, it's a
Yeah,
mechanism, and we need to bring all the different elements. It's like a person. A person, you have you have arms, you have a blood, you have a brain, you have eyes. Yeah, you should bring collect all to make it one.
yeah, yeah. Now, cultural sensitivity and understanding are crucial when working with migrant and refugee populations. How does your organization incorporate cultural competence in its programs and its services?
Yes, it's a very interesting because how you are doing that, we are using a different tool. We are using case studies. We are using role play. We are using model to teach uh, to share all these different uh, um, intercultural uh, competence, because for the intercultural competence we have a lot of different model, different case studies. We have a lot of role play. What
Mhm.
what we are doing despite this this different tool is first the migrant community is different than the local community, because
Mhm.
the migrant community a lot of time they don't have social uh, local support
Okay.
as a local community. And then
Yes.
sometimes many migration, because this we are, when we are talking with migrant, as you say, it's a very complex situation, because you are
Mm,
talking migrant who has nationality or resident permit, migrant who is in irregular administrative situation. We are
mhm.
talking with migrant uh, with well-being, because a lot of migrant they are many of them, a big percentage right now, people who are coming from Marruecos, a lot of them, they have some psychological, some mental ill, because
Yeah.
from Africa
Trauma.
to Europa, sometimes it's 4 years, 6 years before getting here.
Yes.
Sometimes taking the Mediterranean Sea, and then all this situation give them a lot of mental ill. And then we have a different, many complexity
Yeah.
on a different type of migrant. But for each one, we are trying to what do you say, build the the intercultural competence. The intercultural competence can, by the intercultural communication, how we can communicate um, as a migrant to reach out the local community,
Mm-hmm.
working the social cohesion, because the social cohesion is also how we can develop the intercultural competence
Mm.
with the local community. It can
Yeah.
be inviting the local community and showing them our culture, showing them, sharing them with our food. I come from Senegal. I can um, make a chebujan. A chebujan is Senegal national dishes,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
invite them to tell them about Senegal national disease. Chebujan is rice and fish. Uh,
Okay.
I can as well give them cafe tuba. It's a Senegal coffee, and then something like that.
Mm.
And then I can share with them as well African music, Senegal music from Youssou N'Dour, from Ismail Lô, from Baba Mal. I can
Mhm.
as well tell them how is it Senegal, because Senegal is a country in Africa where you can find a lot of different African community in Senegal, because in
Yeah.
Senegal you have a teranga. Teranga, teranga is what you are selling in the international tourism. Senegal, it's teranga is our stamp. It's our stamp. The teranga
Okay.
means, it means in Senegal the the foreign uh, has more more right than Senegalese, than the local,
Uh,
because we are thinking, if you have a foreign person, you should be uh, proud, because the people, they don't go where they can find war or hunger or some illness. If they are coming to your country, because they think in your country they have well-being, and they can find well-being. They can find well-being. That's why foreign people in Senegal, they're free. We have the same right. You have the same right with the Senegal. If you go, if you have a problem with a Senegal, foreign people, if they have a problem with Senegalese, when they go, for example, to the police, they will have the same right. And then Senegal,
that's
for that, is very stable democracy. And then
mm,
what? Another example, we are working in Senegal. It's like Senegal don't have a ethnical war. We never have had any ethnical war in Senegal, and we have a more than 35 ethnical group, and then all the ethnical group, they are connected. That
yeah.
they are connected.
There's
Culturally,
unity.
yes, culturally connected, and then
So
they have some cultural joke. Cultural joke is like a Serer, because I'm a Serer. I'm a Serer. The first president of Senegal, Leopold Sedar Senghor, the poet. It was a poet. It's it's Serer. But the Serer and the Jola, another ethnical group, they have some cultural and traditional joke who, as a Serer, I can say what I want to a Jola, and the Jola should accept that because culturally it's uh, it's accepted. And then
Okay.
we have a different cultural job. That's why we are very connected in our diversity. And then to
Mm.
summarize your question about intercultural competence, we have a different tool that we are using to work on, starting about the intercultural communication, how we can communicate together to build more connection between our different diversities.
Okay, so my last question for you is this one. Looking ahead, what do you see as the most important priorities and opportunities in the field of human immigration? And how can diversity connectors play a role in shaping a more inclusive and supportive future for immigrants and refugees?
Yes, that's a good question and a big question because what we need, it's like an example for myself as well. What I am asking and advocating every day, it's like why here in Spain every day we have African who are dying in the Mediterranean Sea to reach Spain, and then the situation it's creating a circular migration. Circular migration can be helpful. It means if you go to Senegal right now, in French embassy or Spanish embassy or consulate, you can find a queue of more than 1 kilometer. People trying to apply for visa, and then
Mm-hmm.
they don't have visa. Having visa is very very complicated. One example at the same time right now, to try my mother here in Spain,
Yes.
I have a nationality. I'm a European citizen.
Right.
My wife, she's a European citizen. My children, they are European citizen. I have my job. My wife as well. She's a functionary. She's a doctor in art study, and then she's a teacher in the University of Fine Arts.
Okay.
Uh, Economically, we are stable. To bring my mother here, it was 1 year. 1 year. Right now, she's here. My mother, she's here since 1 month. To
Okay.
bring her here, 1 year. Um, uh, 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 Many interview, document, financial, economical capacity, many issues. She
Mm.
she has 80, 85 years, but they think if she comes here, she will job. She will look for a job. How is it,
Oh.
lady? And she's sick, and she's a blind. She don't see more than
Mm.
uh, 30 centimeters, and
Right.
and she's old, sick. Many different, imagine an African woman in Africa, 85 years,
She would have
and then
a tough
if
life.
yes, and then the situation is a circular migration policies, and then people can come with a visa, and then they are not themselves to the sea, or
Mm.
they have visa for 6 months, or visa for 5 months, they can come, work or doing everything what they want and back.
Yeah, yeah,
If we organize the migration, we can all enjoy the migration force, because migration
mm,
is force. Here in Europe, in 2030,
hmm,
we'll need many migration force to support the social security, because
yes,
a lot of aging European is going old, because many European people, they don't want to make two kids. They need
yeah.
only one, and then that's
Population is
why,
shrinking.
yes, demographically the population is going it is aging, and
Yeah,
then if we organize the migration, we organize the regular way for migrant, not the irregular way who kill them. If you organize
yeah,
all in policies, I say in policies, if you organize migration policies, we can really enjoy
it's,
to the power of migration, who can help the human mobility, because the human
yes,
mobility, it was at the beginning of the human being, and nobody can stop the human mobility. Nobody.
that's so
And
true.
that's why we need to organize it, to make
Yeah,
it
it has to
better
be.
in
And it
policies.
has to be at a government level.
Yeah, yes,
Yes, yes.
yes.
Papa Balla, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you so much, Gertrude Matcha. It was
This is
very interesting. I know we can you can talk about well, month, years in migration issues, because we have a lot of things that need to be clarified. And then I
clarified.
think it's only one off. And then thank you so much for having me, and it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for your work. We have to keep having these conversations because it's when we are discussing the issues, people are getting the understanding, the cultural sensitivity comes in as well. So please do not get tired of your work. Your work is absolutely crucial. And I'm really happy I was able to give you a platform today so that our community can get to understand the challenges of migration, refugee populations, wherever they are in the world. These are the same issues. You talked about healthcare, you talked about housing, you talked about getting work permits, everyday challenges that people have. But it's when we start sharing our cultures, sharing our clothing, our food. In Zimbabwe, we have a quote that I will end with today. The proverb says, Ukama igasha, rinosungwa nechikafu, which means relationships are like fabric and we
Mm.
are tied together with the breaking of bread. So until somebody has come to visit you and you sit down and share a meal, they're not really your friend. So thank you so much. Thank you
Mm.
so much for today's interview.
Thank you so much, Gertrude. It was a pleasure.
And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The Diversity Connector is bringing you voices from all over the world. Today, you heard from a man who's from Senegal, who grew up under French and Dutch colonial rule. He's now living in Valencia, Spain, making a difference for diverse communities. Tune in again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And bye for now. And that's a wrap, everybody, on today's episode of the Diversity Connector podcast. Thank you for tuning in and being part of our vibrant and global conversation. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a tapestry of diverse perspectives. Remember, every story you've heard today is a thread in the larger fabric of our shared humanity. So, as you step back into your world, carry these stories with you and let them inspire you to embrace and celebrate the rich diversity around us. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these inspiring stories with more listeners. Do follow us on social media by looking for the Diversity Connector podcast for more updates. Until then, keep connecting, keep listening, and keep celebrating the beauty of diversity. This is the Diversity Connector podcast signing off. Stay curious, stay open, and definitely stay connected.